What's up, everybody? Today I have a masterpiece with me, this beautiful Aventador SV. It is really a work of art. Just looking at this car is something special, and I know this is kind of a throwback tribute video. It's not really a car review because the SV has been out for a long time, but this is a very limited car, and I know there are things such as the SVJ that are out, but for me personally, I've always loved the look of the SV. I've had a thing always for the SV. Gotta thank Mulinaro Motorcars for giving me this car for the day. To me, this is what a Lamborghini should look like. This is, when you ask a 12-year-old to draw a Lamborghini, this is probably what they're gonna draw. They're gonna put a big wing on it, and I just love the fact that everything here is factory. This is why I really love this car. Look how many vents it has. You got 1, 2 and 3 literally over each other, and not to mention the massive one that you have here to cool the side radiators. This is fantastic. And to be honest, my YouTube channel name is Carbon Element, so the more carbon I see on a car, the more it makes me happy. As much as I'm trying to enjoy today, this is making me really emotional because I know these things will be extinct. They are the last of a kind, last of a species. All the Lamborghini V12s, from the Murcielagos, Diablos, Countach, there is going to be the end of the line. You guys have to see the interior of this thing because it's absolutely gorgeous. The carbon weave, everything is done just so beautifully. The Italians really know how to create a masterpiece, and I love the simple things like the carbon tub. You can see it exposed here, you can see the side sills, you can even spot it here, and behind the pedals you can, I don't know if you can see, but you can see the carbon. Another thing I love about SVs and SVJs is the floor mats. They're not really mats, they're like kind of a sandpaper, which is very race car like, because you don't want anything moving around. The seats are absolutely gorgeous. You got the etched Lamborghini logo and the stitching. This is done with all Lamborghinis. This is not what makes the SV stands out. Lamborghini really does amazing work in terms of interior and design. They're Italian. They've been in the game a long time. They started the company to compete with Ferrari, and they did one hell of a job. And to be honest, looks wise, I still think this is the poster car of any car fan child, including myself. To look at, this thing is absolutely on point. It just looks super aggressive. It looks aggressive yet elegant. It's hard to explain because you have cars that look really, really mean. For example, my Black Series, all right, the C63 Black Series, absolutely nothing elegant about that car. That car is just evil, angry looking, and it looks rowdy. It looks like it wants to misbehave. There's absolutely nothing elegant about that car. There's no, I wouldn't say class. The only class probably is the Mercedes-Benz sign. This thing has a certain class to it. This thing, you can tell it's angry, and you can tell it's brutal and fast and all that stuff, but you can also tell that it's very elegant. This is the type of car you can go blasting around country roads and having a great time, but then again, when you want to take a date and go to dinner, this car is just beautiful, elegant and classy. So it really fits for every occasion. And mentioning that it doesn't drive like it drives way, in my opinion, it drives better than the Aventador S and the standard Aventador. And I still think it is not as difficult to drive as the older Lamborghinis, such as the Murcielago and things like that, but it's still got that character preservation. It's really not something I can put into words. I think maybe it's because they decided to stay with the single clutch. The steering wheel feels a bit heavy, it doesn't feel too light. I like that because in a car like this, you want it to be a show, an experience. You want it to make noise, you want to hear that V12, you want to hear some mechanical noises, and this thing does it all. It's not the easiest car to drive in the world, but it's not the most difficult car to drive in the world, but it still preserves that Lamborghini aspect. You want to get in a Lamborghini and you want it to be an experience. You don't just want to get in a car and go from point A to B. You have some supercars that get attention, and it's not always, let's say, good attention. For some reason, every time I've been in a Lamborghini, the attention is relatively good. I've been in some other vehicles and other makes. I don't know why. I think it's just really, really popular ever since, I don't want to say the Miura started it all. I really do believe the Countach started it all with the crazy body design, because the Miura doesn't look anything like the Lamborghinis of today. This does have a lot of the cuts and edges, such as the Countach, the Diablo, the Murcielago. However, everything here obviously is functional. On the Countach back in the day, nothing was functional. It was just, the wing was completely useless and everything here is mechanically designed. This car looks great, but mechanically it's also fantastic. It is Italian. It's an Italian beauty with German engineering, and that's really what you do want. And that's why I think these cars are super, super special. I love doors that you actually have to close instead of soft closing doors. See? It won't soft close, and I love that. I actually like it, the fact that you have to close the car. I'm not a big fan of the soft closing door thing. And you know how some supercars are very difficult to get in and out of? This is really not that hard at all, because the side over here isn't too high, so you can actually get in and out really, really easy. So that's a great thing. I absolutely love the shifting of the single clutch, and it's amazing how when you put it in Corsa, the steering and everything, as with all Lamborghinis, when you put it in Corsa, everything becomes sharper. It becomes more of a track car than an actual just show car. And that's what I love about this car, is that it looks incredible, but when you really want to drive and put your foot down, it'll actually do the job, and it becomes like a different car when you push that button. You have to hand it to the roads. They really are beautiful. It is a low car, so you have to be mindful. You have to use the lift system every now and then. Okay, now let's put it in sport mode. Okay, so it's gonna still be sharp, but not as much as Corsa, and if you leave it in automatic mode, it's not gonna let it rev as high. And she's a big girl, so if you want to, for example, do a 180 turn, you have to give her some room. You can't just turn in. I would advise going a bit wide, kind of like driving my Hummer in a way. Not to compare both, but she's a wide girl, so you got to give her the space she needs. One thing I'll say about driving this car is that when you're driving it in Strada and you have it in automatic, it shifts very, very early, because the torque that's generated by the V12 is massive, so it does shift quite early. You do have to get used to that. That's not how most other cars are. In most Aventadors it's the case, because the V12, like I said, the torque is very high. I'm gonna try it in Strada, Sport and Corsa. I like to drive it in manual, even in Strada, so that's how I'd rather go. Okay, let's lower the window, and obviously, as with all Lamborghinis, it's the opposite. Italian way is the opposite. You go up to lower the window and down to raise the window, so it's pretty cool. There we go. So let's put it in neutral. Okay, e-brake. Yeah, I like to put her in neutral and yeah, turn off the car. Okay, let's get out. You can hear the fan because it's a pretty hot day, so you can actually hear the fan still working. So it's good to know that everything is on point. Yeah. Calm down now a little bit. I'm so glad they built this car. Really well done, Lamborghini. And well done on the SVJs too. And this one is really limited. I mean, I don't know if you can see the badge. Let me close the door. It's a bit sunny, so I hope there's not too much reflection. But the badge over here says, actually, let me go from inside. It's 1D600, which means 1 of 600 built. So there's only 600 of these units, which is incredible. So you do know you're driving something really, really special. I get pretty emotional really when I spend quality time with cars like this, because seeing the way the world is going and what direction the world is going right now, it has been confirmed that the V12s will be discontinued, and I really do believe that this beauty will really appreciate in value. And remember my words, I'm pretty confident. It's not something, I don't even think there's a debate there. This will go up in value, and whoever ends up with this monster is just going to be really one happy boy or girl. They're going to really enjoy it, because I think this is an incredible transition from the Aventador. It's like the middle ground between the Aventador S, let's say, and the SVJ. However, in my personal opinion, I absolutely adore the look of this car. This car, to me, you're going to be seeing an SVJ video soon. I've been working on that, but this car, looks wise, I will never forget when this car came out. I'm like, this is one of the most beautiful cars that was ever released. And to see it in this Rosso Bia, it's amazing. I was showing you the flakiness. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just like sparkly. It's really cool. This color is one of those colors that looks good in night and day, because you get a lot of supercars that have really beautiful colors, and in the day it looks good, or vice versa, it looks bad, and then in the evening it looks good. This looks good in full bright, like right now. Normally I don't like to film in this time because the sun is so strong. It takes away from the car, and sometimes when the sun is so strong it shows a lot of the blemishes. But this car is so immaculate that when you actually look around, you don't really see any blemishes, which is amazing. It's a testament to not only the material but also the quality and the durability of the car. It's amazing how many radiators this thing has. You look here, you see a black radiator, and you look there, you see another radiator, and then you go somewhere else and you see another radiator, and then you go to the side and you see a radiator, and then there's a fan and stuff. So for that big V12, there's a lot of cooling being moved around. So it's just really nice to, you know, enjoy and appreciate the little details of this car. I love the quad exhaust on Aventadors in general, on any Aventador, even the aftermarket ones that they do for the regular Aventadors. I just love the exhaust. I love the V12. I love the power. I love the sound. I don't care if it eats fuel, and it's not too bad with fuel, but I don't really care about that. I just I'm gonna really miss these cars once they're gone, and I'm like I said, I'm really trying to enjoy myself right now as much as I can, because this is a work of art. But the more I'm spending time with it, the more it makes me sad, because I don't know how long they'll last. And this is just really an emotional video for me. I could go on and on about the horsepower and the torque, but you know that, you know, the SV, again, it's not a new car review. It's been there for a while. Some people have been mentioning these straps. I love these straps. I I don't see anything wrong with them. I actually think without them, I know you can't really close the door as easily, because you don't really open it from here, you open it from here. So and once it goes up and you get inside, you need a way to bring it down. And since it's a nice piece of carbon here, it just makes things more difficult to bring the door down, so you can easily do that. I would talk about the infotainment system here in a little bit. It's the older model of Lamborghini. It's not like the one on the Evo, for example, which is still great. I didn't really have any complaints about it. The new one obviously is faster, but this one works perfectly fine. And again, to be honest with you, if you buy this car based on the infotainment system and things like that, then that's not the right car for you. Buy something else. Buy a Tesla. This car, you buy it for passion, for love, for the sound, for the drive. And also, this car is one of the cars that makes people happy. Like, if whoever buys this car in the future, please drive it. Don't put it in a garage and make her a queen, like a garage queen. She needs to be seen by people, because honestly, she makes people so happy. Like, when people see this car, they just love it. And I'm one of them. I'm like, if I owned this car, and I'm that type of person, call me what you want, I don't really care, but if I owned this car, I would still be driving it around, and I would still be parking it in places like nice scenic places, and I'd still be trying to take beautiful pictures. I'd have her cleaned up, detailed, and yeah, and because this is something I do believe car passion is meant to be shared with the rest of the world. People all around the world want to see a car like this, and I'm absolutely one of them. I speak for myself when I say this. So this is just a request for whoever buys this car. Please drive it, take it out, and for your sake, enjoy it. Don't just park it there. Another side note, this car is a track capable car, because it did set a good time on the major track that everyone knows, the Nürburgring. So it's there is a standard for it, and like I said, everything here is functional. The wing, the inlets for cooling, the ceramic brakes, which are absolutely massive in the front. One thing I would do is I'd probably get the Lamborghini valve caps and put them on here, preferably in black, maybe to match the wheel. The Lamborghini do make those. I remember back when I had the Gallardo, for example, LP750, it was a nightmare. Sometimes I would need to push the button from inside. I would forget, I'd get out of the car and I'd forget to push the button and things to access the fuel cap. But this is just super easy. It's like any other vehicle. You just go to the side, tap here, there you go. Obviously the car would need to be unlocked, but yeah, it's really, really cool. And also, yeah, the gas tank, I like it. It's aluminum etched with Lamborghini, so it's very, very nice. The Murcielago, I remember, had the seat belts from the middle to go this way. These are actually back to normal. So it does have the auto stop feature, which is to save fuel, but you can turn it off from here. I always do, because I don't like to be in traffic and well, just stop the car without me stopping it. So that's just a personal thing. The AC system in this car is phenomenal. It is a really, really hot day right now. It is really, really hot, and if it wasn't for this thing, I don't think I'd be able to do the video. I'd be really dehydrated. I mean, so this thing is actually saving my life. So yeah, I didn't drive it before in Strada. I'm driving it right now in Strada, and I'm driving it in automatic. All right, so I'm not gonna shift, and you're gonna notice something. You're gonna notice how she shifts up extremely early. I'm not gonna fasten my seatbelt because I'm still on private roads and I'm still gonna go on another side. So yeah, so I'm doing 24 miles an hour, 22, and I'm on 4th gear. See what I mean? So I took her out of the sun, put her under the shade of a tree, and you can see the difference of lighting. You can see how the car kind of changed color. Right now it doesn't really show the flake as much, but if you're driving in the night and a car drives by and its light reflects off of this car, it looks so good. I've seen this car at night and I love the way it looks at night, as much as I do in the day. It really just looks good everywhere. These slits are like too out there, but for me this isn't really the highlight of this vehicle. The highlight of this vehicle is the way they work these around. It's just whoever designed this and whoever designed the Aventador lights, This is how a Lamborghini should be. I like it when it looks crazy, but it also serves a purpose. It's not just there for show. So that's what I love about it. It's encouraging me to do things. I'm like literally in traffic and it's just telling me thrust mode possible. Launch control basically here. What are you doing? Calm down. It's like the last thing I need is for the car to encourage me to do stuff. I'm already just itching to do something. And I'm not gonna complain about the single clutch. I actually think it's fast enough for a car of this scale and of this size. Not once did I want to shift down and it didn't listen to me, so that's a good thing. And again, this car has been out there for a while, so for it to still be behaving this way is a great thing. Looking into the boot space, it's relatively practical for what it is. Again, you're not gonna go carrying airport luggage in this thing unless you're absolutely crazy, but you got space if you want to do regular grocery shopping. They are so generous with space, you know. They give you a massive pocket right here for your things. Fire extinguisher in the passenger side. God forbid, not that anyone ever needs to use it. Just a little Easter egg. Let's say the battery is dead one day or something, you can still access the car from here. Stunning. Rear view camera. Some of the new supercars look too futuristic, if you know what I mean. This one is like the perfect balance of capturing what we had in the past and what we're having right now in the future, and what we're gonna have continuing in the future. I just love the look of this car. This car, the SV, the Aventador SV and specifically, is such a good looking car. In general, the Lamborghini SV models are fantastic. Like, The Murcielago SV is just a stunner. Till this day, it's asking for ridiculous prices, and it's only gonna go up, and this one's only gonna go up, and it's been proven. Cars like the Countach, cars like the Murcielago, cars like the Diablo, they're all gonna go up. This engine, this type of driving experience, it's an event, and that's exactly what you want from this type of car. I love it. I feel like it's a crime to leave it in automatic. And yes, I'm that moron that drives the car like this in traffic in Corsa mode. That's just how I'm programmed. Because in the older cars, you didn't really have, when the very old cars, not the let's say millennial cars before that, there wasn't really a Corsa button where the electronics turn off something or turn on something. Corsa mode was you as the driver back in the day before 2000. You could just, depending on how you drive it, it's how the car behaved, and I like that. But I appreciate the fact that they have Strada Sport, because they make this car more versatile for more than one type of individual. I'm just the obnoxious one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was like a nostalgia trip for me. It's really sad to think that cars like this are gonna kind of fade away slowly.